I'm calling to order the meeting of the Water Supply Planning Committee. It's Monday, May 4th, and it's 2 p.m. Let's have a roll call, please.
Yes. Director Edwards,
Here?
Director Gawain,
Here.
Chair Paul.
Here.
And for the record, Director Gawain's attending as the alternate today
Right.
for Rebecca.
Yes, thank you. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No.
No? Okay. Do we have any public attending? Members of the public?
We have, yes, one member of the public in attendance.
Okay, so this is time for public comment. If there's a member of the public who wishes to comment, please let us know. Raise your hand remotely.
Chair Paul, I see no raised hands.
Thank you. Okay. Then I close public comment. The first item is the adoption of the minutes from the March 2nd meeting. I was absent from that meeting. Just noting that. Any corrections or questions about the minutes? If not, is there a motion to adopt them?
So moved.
Second it.
Thank you. And I guess we have to do a roll call vote.
Yes. Director Edwards,
Approval?
Director Gawain,
Yes.
Chair Paul.
Yes.
Minutes are approved 3-0.
Okay. Then we go to item 2, water supply forecast.
Great.
And
Yep, thank you. This represents a change from past practice, which is why we're here at the committee level before it goes to the board. Traditionally, on May 1st of every year, the district makes a determination of the water supply outlook for the next 17 months, the 5 remaining months of the current water year, plus the full subsequent water year. And this is done in order to inform whether we need to implement any conservation or rationing plans because of the pending shortfall. In the past, the system had been built around identifying storage in the Carmel Valley alluvial aquifer, plus available storage in the Seaside groundwater basin, and comparing that available storage to the production needs of California American Water plus the non-CalAm pumpers. As we began to better understand the water supply portfolio and begin to include things like Sand City desal, but more importantly, Pure Water Monterey, as well as Mel Paso and some other small items, it became clear that just valuing storage is not a complete determination of availability. So this represents some changes to Rule 160, which you may recall the board adopted upon second reading in April and will be basically in effect this month. And that also was done to be more consistent with the Urban Water Management Plan and the reporting requirements for the water use efficiency reporting in general. So what I wanted to draw your attention to are some of the attachments to the staff report, keeping in mind that you're seeing it here at the very first week of May, and so data was only available through the end of March. So all the numbers will change, but it's instructive to just look at what it is that we're doing. And I think the best place to start is Exhibit 2A, which basically shows you the remaining supply available. And that can be computed essentially as, for example, the first one, the 2,448. Well, that's the water right of 3,376 acre feet minus production that has occurred to date, which we share with you in the general manager's report every board meeting. So at the end of March, that number of production for the Carmel River was 928 acre feet. So 3,376 minus 928, and so on down the line. Seaside Basin, the native water right yield is 1,466 acre feet, and they've used 281 to date. Pure Water Monterey, we were carrying, a number that it was unclear whether we would achieve, but 4,536 acre feet minus 2,850 currently through the end of March. So supply available for next year then become the faceplate amounts. The 3,376 is a full year annual water right, the 1,466. This 4,536 from Pure Water Monterey, we will actually be changing that in the report that goes to the board to be 5,286, which is a number that we have shared with Monterey One Water as the target as we continue to transition from 3,500 acre feet a year to the eventual 5,750 acre feet per year. So that number will change, and all of the numbers in the first column will change because we'll update those through the end of April numbers, which we'll get about 10 days into the month of May. So supply available next year, you can see we're at current saying 0 for ASR. Now, the likelihood is that we will have a normal year and there will be some in ASR, perhaps 1,000 acre feet, don't know. And similarly, we're saying 0 from Pure Water Monterey reserves. But as we've indicated at other times, we're trying to grow the reserves to the new reserve requirement plus some additional reserves. So that could ultimately be greater than 0. And then Cal-Am currently has extra deliveries available. So the 222 number that they need to drain or access by the end of the water year to break even on what we've delivered and what they've pulled out of the ground. But in next water year, we're just assuming that number to be 0. So those are the types of available supplies. It's beyond just stored water in the Monterey Peninsula Water Resource System. Then turning to Exhibit 2B, we would compare existing remaining demand and the demand for next year to these available supplies. So you see the available supply here, the 13,596, if you're looking at attachment Exhibit 2. That's the number from above in the last exhibit, same for the 9,686 for next year. So supplies just derived from that first exhibit. Demand, the remaining demand is actually taken from really the Urban Water Management Plan model, where we say current demand is 9,247 acre feet. Well, we don't really know that that's the case, but that is the 5-year average production for customer service. So we use that as a measure of our current demand, and the demand for the next water year is incrementally current demand at the same growth rate for the first 5-year period under the Urban Water Management Plan. So these demand numbers are tied to the district's own demand forecasting methods. And so you compare available supply to available demand, and what you see is there's a net surplus of 8,886 acre feet. And then, therefore, we at May 1 declare there is no pending drought emergency and no need for implementation of a higher stage of rationing of our rationing plan or increased advertisement or outreach for conservation planning. So this, as I said, will all be updated with the numbers through the end of April, available to us in early May. And so they will change slightly, but the methodology represents a big change. And you can see that also in the next table. And this is the old style, table 2C, where you can see it was California American and non-CalAm producers. So their pumping needs or their regulatory needs from just the Carmel River and the Seaside Basin were added together and then compared with available storage. So that version of the table is going out, and the new version of the table based on all supplies is coming in. And then the final exhibit is the draft resolution for adoption. Any questions?
Yeah, Dave, going back to that first chart. When do we start buying water, extra water to put in there? Is that in these numbers?
Yes, it is in the numbers. In the Pure Water Monterey Reserves stored. So you see that third column of numbers says storage, total supply available on May 1.
Yes.
So the 2553 for Pure Water Monterey Reserves at the end of last month was 2353. And the month before that was 2153. So we've added 400 acre feet so far this year, and we'll probably add another couple of hundred this month. And then we'll see where we stand in June.
Okay. So you'll be able to tell the public that answer if I
Yep.
ask it again.
And the line item that says ASR stored includes, yeah, and that includes the full 916 that we injected this year.
Oh, okay.
Do you have another question, Alvin or Marianne?
No, I don't have
Okay.
it.
All right. I just have one, just to make sure I'm in the language of the resolution at the very end where it talks about adding table 15-5. I presume what is meant is the table, the categories, not the specific numbers in the draft that we have.
Well,
attachment.
when it goes to the board, it will be the numbers that are presented in the table.
Okay, so the updated numbers.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
so
then,
we adopt the table by resolution.
I see. So I guess I just like to, for some reason, I'm not entirely clear on the reasons. You did explain this, Dave, so I apologize if something didn't get through, but to me, but is the main reason for this new approach to the estimates consistency with the urban water management plan? Or are there other reasons in addition to that?
Yeah, there are three real reasons. Reason number one is we've historically done an assessment in May of whether we have a pending potential water shortage. And so you'd want to signal to the public right now before summer starts heating up that we're going to have a problem. And so in the past, we've done that only based on storage and only based on what's produced from the Seaside Basin and the Carmel Valley alluvial aquifer. As water supply sources have diversified, it became apparent that in order to make those kinds of statements in May, we need to be more inclusive of all the sources of supply.
Yes, yes.
So that's reason number one. And reason number two is that we have now that urban water management plan requirement, and we do create a demand forecast for the urban water management plan. And we also talk about future supplies and future accumulation of storage and so forth. So yes, we're being consistent now with the urban water management plan. And then the third reason is we note that, call it man-made storage. So discretionary additions to storage have become very important in our available supplies, and those weren't captured in any way, shape, or form in the previous methodology.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for, I know some of that you had already said, but okay, I understand now, and that seems really important. And I think that it's going to take the public some time to get used to the concept of surplus in these reports.
It's sure taken the cities a while. We still have City of Monterey has a no release of water for new buildings policy, and it's driving us crazy.
So the demand forecasts that are part of these tables includes the accounts for a certain amount of growth consistent with our forecasts, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe I guess it's time for the cities to catch up to the new
Absolutely.
reality.
Absolutely. And the county took their policy to Planning Commission last Tuesday, I think it was, maybe Wednesday. And it's also a discombobulated piece of work. So, yeah. But this is, as I said, the most important thing is this is a short-term look, 17 months, remainder of this year plus all of next year, just to spot check, do we have a problem? And, you know, there have been times where it's been very close to having a problem. And this in particular didn't throw us into additional triggers during the drought of 2013, 14, 15, 16. But we certainly looked at it very carefully in the second year of drought, third year of drought, and so forth. And we did actually up our level from level 1 to level 2, but level 2 is just increased outreach leading to increased voluntary conservation. But level 3 is where you really do hit a trigger where penalty rates come into play. And then level 4, of course, is rationing. And the district never really wants to get to that level. We tried rationing back in the late 80s, early 90s period. And that's why Gabby came to work at the district. We needed additional help to manage the rationing program. And it's very challenging, very high cost, very invasive. So the goal is to have those early warning signals so that hopefully we never get there.
Very good. Thank you for the explanation. Any further questions from board members, committee members?
None for me.
Oh, well,
Okay.
yeah, I do. I mean, because I think I'm still a little behind the 8 ball here. So when will we see? So I understand about the fact that there are going to be new numbers for the board because we'll have more information. It's a little lagging. And then just in terms of this projection, which I understand is a 17-month projection done at this time of year, what do we see in the fall? Do we see something?
Yep. So in the fall, under Rule 160, tables 1, 2, 3, and 4 will get updated to the projected production by month for the Carmel River, the Seaside Basin, the variety of different other supplies, so Pure Water Monterey, Sand City, D-Cell, Malpaso, and then all of them in aggregate. Those will get updated for the year. And this is where, now that we've got Pure Water Monterey online, that some of John's methodology that he's pieced together in conjunction with CalAm, typically we used to look at the Seaside Basin and the Carmel River on a monthly basis based on historical years. And then we worked with CalAm to pick which historical years, and that creates a distribution of that, for example, 3,376 acre feet of the Carmel River water right would get spread across all the months of the year. Well, now that Pure Water Monterey is coming in and also increasing with the expansion, this will be an opportunity to talk with CalAm about, well, is the Carmel River going to be allocated monthly based on the historical data, or is there some new method? So in October, those charts will be updated for the subsequent water year and also brought to the board. So it's kind of a two-step process. You project for that water year, and then you review in May to see if we have a problem heading into the summer.
Okay, good. Thanks. Getting there.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to, oh, actually, we should check to see if there's any public comment on this item.
Chair Paul, I see no raised hands.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So I'm going to make a motion to recommend to the board that the board receive and confirm this forecast that will be updated before the next board meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Director Gawain,
Aye, yes.
Director Edwards,
Yes,
Chair Paul.
Yes,
Motion's adopted 3-0.
very good. Okay. Now, next item, item 3 is the update on the modification of the cease and desist order.
Yeah, my favorite subject.
mine's too. I'm glad you got it on there.
Suffice to say, so after the last board meeting, we sent out a copy of our, well, actually, after we sent it, we sent a copy of our most recent letter. And this most recent letter was actually supplement number 3 to the original application. So we deemed it to be part of the application.
Mhm.
And it was simply an update of actually these kind of conditions we just talked about. Where do we stand here on the Monterey Peninsula at the middle of the water year? And it was intended to just highlight the fact that CalAm's nowhere near their Carmel River water right. So the threat of trespass under the water code is really, really low. And more so informationally was to show the State Water Board that they're really low on their seaside native water and some of their other sources of water. So if we can't get the conversation in real time started, at least we can update them with occasional news flashes of good news. So in this particular instance, other than at the end of the letter, we didn't push them on their ex parte rules. We didn't try to read them procedure. We just basically said, hey, take a look at this. Things are looking pretty good. We did not get a response other than automatic responses, like the general counsel was out of the office that week and so forth. So we remain kind of in blackout mode with no communication. But our most recent communication was last week. So.
And presumably that goes into the record.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's good. You're doing what you can do then
Well,
right now.
through the chair, Dave, the reason I keep bringing it up is that what you just said earlier about having troubles with the city using their water. They're not going to use it until that CDO is dismissed. And my big push, and the board big push should be, we are trying to get the state to hear our case to remove the CDO. And that's why I mentioned going to the extent of using Mr. Laredo and his firm about going to the state saying, we have rights. Yeah, I know it's a nuisance, but the public need to hear that we are trying to get rid of the CDO so they will use the water. So that's my big push in this.
Yeah, I tend to agree that we're at that point where we as a agency need to say, all right, do we file a writ? Do we try to get a court to come down and, I mean, basically, if we're going to lawyer up, will it have an impact? Don't know that it will. I mean, I'm still reminded when Felicia Marcus was the chair of the board, and I mentioned regulatory taking, because in effect, this would be a poster child case for regulatory taking, where you've got, let's say, a property owner. It'd be the guy down on Cannery Row who bought up the last open site next to El Torito. And if he's being restricted from developing his parcel because you can't set a meter, but the moratorium appears to be arbitrary and capricious, which one could argue that it is at this point, then he's being prevented from the right to pursue a development project. And so that could be considered a taking. Well, Felicia Marcus said, no, go ahead and sue us. Everybody does. We got plenty of them. A very cavalier attitude about lawsuits. Now, that doesn't mean that Joaquin Esquivel, who's now chair, feels the same way. But they're big and they get sued all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think if we just try the case or moving it up into that field, that, okay, we'll sue, pile it on, like everybody else, at least our public here on the peninsula know we are fighting for them.
Yeah.
We are willing, and that's my point, to show them that we're responsible for the water. We want you to use it. It's there, unless we do something stupid and just say, go ahead and do it and see what happens, what they're going to do to us. So, I'm just about at that level of saying, let's push on with something else and to see what they're going to do, react to us instead of us still trying to beg and plead.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm beating the drums on this. I
understand.
I only got about 180 days left. So,
but who's counting?
Our last big move. So
yeah,
that's why I'm pushing it. So now y'all know why.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm thinking it's May, and we had hoped that by this time the board would be acting on our application.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Karen.
you even had other state water board staff tell people in our community, oh yeah, we're going to look at this thing and probably spring, early summer, we'll have a decision out. Well, they haven't even, invited us for our hearing.
Very frustrating.
We need to make that move. We need to make that one big move that's probably going to stir everybody up, but they at least know that Monterey Peninsula Water Management District is trying to get the CDO removed. I know Cal-Am don't want it to happen. I know the business people probably don't want it to happen, but it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The peninsula needs to see it work.
That would be something that the board would have to consider in closed session.
Closed session or have that debate in open session. It needs to be done. So whatever y'all want to come up with.
Michael, I'll task you with putting your heads together with Dave and tell us what the process would be for filing a writ and how we would do it, where we would do it, and what the process is. Kind of a
We can certainly put together a memo on that regard regarding the process of filing that writ to force them to make a decision.
yeah.
And if possible, through the chair, if possible, Dave, I like that to be brought out publicly, that we're
Yeah.
looking at this.
Well, the only way to get some movement by threatening a writ without filing a writ is to get it out publicly. You know, there's always benefit in, you know, like a call to Michael Loffer directly saying, hey, Michael, my board is one step short of filing a writ. You know, should we go ahead and do that? Or are you guys ready to start the process? I mean, the state board can react to a threat just as much as they can react to an actual filing.
Well, Dave, I thought y'all probably been undone that one. And sit up there and said, I got a rubber rouser director that's on the CDO. Like I thought y'all been undone that. Said he's threatening y'all.
Yeah.
To come back with something. But now I want to do it, hit it publicly so the public know, hey, we're still on the CDO. The board is still on the CDO removal.
Okay, well, Dave has asked Michael to prepare a memo on the steps involved, you know, what we would need to do to file a writ. And I guess that fact can be announced publicly that we've made that request.
Thank you, Chair. We did it with the CPUC. We undone this before. It's nothing new.
Okay, well, we'll expect that will come up at the board meeting in some fashion. Okay, let's see where we're. Okay, that was a discussion item. Anything further on that from anyone?
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Dave. Let's go on to item 4, update on the desalination project.
Yeah, not much to update you on. We did, during the GM report to the full board on April 20th, I gave you the listing of conditions. I just want to let you know that, interestingly, Supervisor Glenn Church's office asked for the exact same thing. Both, can you give us a copy of what the Coastal Commission conditions were, and do you know the status on them? So I think it's a question that a lot of people are asking. We did learn late last week, Mike and I, that Monterey One Water's application for a coastal development permit for the outfall was deemed incomplete by the Regional Water Board and, I'm sorry, by the Coastal Commission. And to bring it back to complete will take several months. So chances are that won't get heard, best case, late this calendar year, likely case early next year. And then the application to the regional board for the NPDES permit, the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit, was supposed to be heard in like August, and they're going to miss that date. And I think best case now is an October hearing. For that hearing, we would expect to be on the distribution list for whatever the engineer's report packet looks like. And Mike, you can probably elaborate on that if we need it. I did put in an email to Deanna Christian, who is the Coastal Commission rep, asking her directly if any of the other conditions had been satisfied by CalAm, and she's out. And she was out late last week and will be out until later this week. So I don't know the answer from the Coastal Commission directly. but I check in with her about every 6 months to see if there's been movement.
Well, it's clearly a good thing that we're now including update on those 20 conditions, and that we're tracking it, and that presumably Glenn, you told Glenn Church that we are keeping track and that this is a public document.
Yeah, in fact, his aide came back and said, what about conditions 18 and 20? Are you going to plan to add those to your list and keep track of them? So she clearly read it. I think we didn't have the full set of conditions because some of them are normal course of business type conditions, and so we didn't think they rose to the level of scrutiny as some of the others. But yeah.
Well, it's a useful thing, and people probably aren't aware that information is easily available. We've it's in the agenda packets, but is it also posted on our website in a way it can be easily found?
No, and it's on a to-do list, but format wise and trying to get certain that we've got the status correct, which is why I want to hear back from the staffer at the Coastal Commission.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, when you get those answers, it would be helpful if that information were easy to find on our website for anybody who's checking. Yeah, good.
And
Thank you.
Through Chair, if I may, Dave, let's find out what Monterey One is doing over there with this project. They are neighbors, and we work with them, and they work with CalAm. Let's find out from them where they stand and how they doing, because I read stuff that they're moving stuff along over there, moving stuff ahead.
Yeah.
But let's find out what kind of status is over there on this project.
Yeah, well, they did approve the application to the Coastal Commission. It was a heated discussion with Marina Coast Water District primarily in opposition, and it looked like even at the Recycled Water Committee level that they were laying the groundwork for maybe a lawsuit to try to stop this process. But as I said, the board as a whole at M1W did authorize the application for the coastal development permit.
Well, you need to tell the public some way.
Yeah.
Because they were out there, and now they sort of like back to where they used to be, hush hush. So, all right, thank you.
Okay. And next we have an update on our funding request for the Seaside Basin Monitoring Well.
Right. So you may recall that John Lear proposed replacing Sentinel Well number 4 in a shared cost sharing relationship with the water master. That was approved. But in the process of kind of specking that out, it became clear that a lot of the district assets are old, meaning monitoring well assets are old and would benefit from being replaced. So we took the replacement of one well and lumped it with replacement of several wells as a program and put it in as an earmark request. And the earmark requests are limited. I think, Mike, you can help me out on this one. I think it's 9 for a congressman, for a representative, no limit for senators. Well, we went ahead and put the request into Congressman Panetta's office, and this would have been under EPA state and tribal assistance grants through the state revolving fund. Well, we know, A, that the EPA's funding of state revolving funds has been capped by the current administration in the White House. And also, Jimmy Panetta's office informed us that they did not submit our earmark forward as one of his limited earmark requests from his office. I don't think we have an answer yet from Schiff and Padilla. I think they're on about a month different timeline, but Mike, you know any more on that?
Yeah, no update on that, Dave. They haven't decided or haven't sent their list out yet.
So what you really want on an earmark is your congressman, your representative, and your two senators to all be on the same page recommending them, because then when you get a budget, federal budget, and it's passed through committees and they're now just looking at how they compromise between the two, if it's on both sides, you've got a greater chance of some money getting put out. But it doesn't mean that you're foreclosed. We saw last year that Senator Schiff and Padilla supported a couple projects that didn't get support from their local representative and made it into the budget. So, but we've chosen not to reapply for our stormwater diversion program, which we've been trying to get through with Army Corps of Engineer money, and instead go with this monitoring well program, thinking it would read a little better and it would be tapping a different funding source that typically, until most recently this year, there was always some money for the state and tribal assistant grants. So we shall see, but not good news. Now, we've included it in the budget anyway as a $850,000 project. So when we get to the budget workshop, you'll see much of it is still going to be requested to move forward just on our constituents' dollar, not the federal government's dollar.
Okay, so we're still going to try to move forward with the funding requests through the senators.
Yeah, it's a fiscal 27 request, so they adopt. I was about to say that our government would adopt a budget around October, but there's no guarantee of that.
Right, right. Well, very uncertain. Okay, this is our world today. Okay, thank you. And items for future agenda. What comes to mind? Alvin, you have some things in mind?
Not right now. I only got 180 days left, so
Okay.
trying to keep it short.
Mary Ann?
No, I don't know if Rebecca conveyed anything, but
I haven't seen anything from her to me, but I do miss some emails. So, Dave, Mike, Sarah, or John, have you received anything from her?
No, nothing specifically,
Okay.
but I think these last, well, at least two of the last three items, as we have more information, we should just bring back if we have more information.
Exactly. The last three. Let's just, any updates, we'll include those. Okay. And John, can you think of anything that we should place on the agenda for the next meeting?
For the next Water Supply Planning Committee, if the Turlesitas Aquifer study, it's in its final edits, is finished, we'll bring that forward. And that was, just to remind people, that was a study that was done trying to find other uses for the 2808B water right.
Yeah, and John, the potential for a 2808D for a well down by Cod, I'll get you more information on how maybe to flesh that out. The next meeting's 2 months from now, so maybe we'll have something we can talk about on that at that time.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I think we can adjourn
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good sharing. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.